Archangel Michael says, "Why did your spirit jolt the moment you read that title? Why have you been feeling watched, yet no one's in the room? Why did a face you trusted start to feel unfamiliar?" These are not random thoughts. This is not a moment to scroll past. Something has been done in the hidden, a file, with your photo. And it wasn't taken with a camera, you know. It wasn't saved on a computer you can touch. This image of you was captured in the spirit realm, without your permission. And now, it's circulating. But heaven intercepted the trail, and I, Archangel Michael, was dispatched. The file carries weight. It carries whispers. It carries intent. And intent is everything in the spiritual realm. This wasn't innocent. This wasn't random. And this message is not optional. Heaven is shaking even as you read. Because something sacred, your identity, your light, your divine image, was accessed and duplicated for a purpose that you must now uncover. I am standing over you, sword drawn, not in peace, but in alert. Your name was mentioned. Your face was invoked. Your spirit was tracked. There is a hidden contract, formed not in ink, but in spiritual energy, and it bears your likeness. Don't look away. Don't say, "It's probably nothing," because tonight the veil is being torn, and what was hidden in shadow is about to be shown in full light. Stay with me. This revelation is about to start. Type 9999 to declare, "No weapon formed with my image shall prosper." Archangel Michael says, "You never saw the lens. You never heard the click. But your photo was taken, not by a device made by man, but by something older, something darker. An invisible camera that moves through rooms like wind and captures not just your face, but your energy. This is why you've been waking up at 3 a.m., why your name has felt strange in your own mouth, why you looked in the mirror recently and thought, "That's not even me." Because something took an image of your spirit without asking. Listen, this is not superstition. This is not fear-mongering. This is warfare. And I have come to shield you from what's been watching you. They don't need flash. They don't need permission. They only need access. And at some point, someone you trusted gave them just enough room to open the door. And when that door opened, your presence, your likeness, was recorded. Not just a photograph, a spiritual imprint, a scan of your vibration, your destiny, your divine design. That's what they captured. And now, it sits in a file not made of paper or pixels, but of spiritual code. Your code. Let me tell you who they are. They are not strangers in the street. They are not thieves in masks. They are people who smile in your face but pray against your name. People who saw your light and decided it was too bright to let shine. One of them sat in your home. One of them once said, "I'm proud of you." But behind their eyes was envy. And that envy became a doorway. Envy always needs a photo. It cannot attack what it cannot visualize. So it took one. Yes, your image was used in ritual speech. It was used as symbolic currency in a spiritual transaction. Someone said your name in a whisper, holding your photo in their hand, thinking it gave them power. But they were wrong. Because now I stand between you and that file. Sword drawn, wings extended. And I say to you, nothing captured without consent will be permitted to harm you. Still, you must understand this. The photo is real, and the attempt was active. And if I had not intervened, if heaven had not sent me, you would have felt it soon in your physical world. Delays you couldn't explain. Emotions that didn't belong to you. A heaviness that followed you room to room. A door of opportunity about to shut. Not because you weren't ready, but because your energy had been bound to someone else's manipulation. But I caught it, and I've come to warn you before it activates. There's still time, but only if you take this seriously. Let me describe what that file looked like. A spiritual folder, glowing in dark light. Your photo, not just the face, but the expression you had the last time you doubted yourself. Yes, that moment of weakness. That's what they chose to immortalize. Because darkness cannot duplicate your power when you're strong. So it waits for your moment of exhaustion, and then snap, the image is taken. This is why you need to be alert. Spiritual surveillance is real, and it's not through technology. It's through open doors. Open doors of gossip. Open doors of jealousy. Open doors of shared secrets. Your spirit is sacred. But the moment you let someone touch your private thoughts, someone who did not carry clean intent, you unknowingly allowed an unauthorized access point. Now, hear me. This is not to shame you. This is to arm you. I didn't come just to report danger. I came to reverse it. Right now, I am circling that file. I am flooding it with light, and one by one, I am deleting the energy it tried to hold. But I need your agreement, because my sword is only drawn by your faith. Say this now. What was taken from me without permission must now return to sender, powerless and void. Say it with breath. Say it with fire. Because they didn't just want your image. They wanted your future. They wanted to copy your divine favor and wear it as their own. But they cannot imitate glory. Not the kind marked by God. That file was created, but it has now been intercepted. Yet one question remains. Who gave them access? And that, my child, is where we are going next. Stay with me. The betrayal has a name, and it's closer than you think. Type 444. If you felt chills while reading this, because heaven is confirming your discernment. Archangel Michael says, it wasn't a stranger. It wasn't a hacker in the night. The betrayal came from someone you trusted. Yes, child, the one who smiled across the table, the one who prayed with you, laughed with you, even called you family. They opened the door. Not a door with hinges or locks, but a spiritual doorway. And the moment they spoke about you behind your back, the moment they carried your name into a conversation you weren't invited to, that was the moment your image was handed over. I watched it happen, and heaven cried. Because your heart was pure, you meant no harm. You were generous with your soul, but they were calculating with their silence. Let me take you back to that moment. It was small. You might not even remember it. A phone call. A conversation you walked in on, and they quickly changed the subject. You felt it. That inner sting. That flicker of cold. Your spirit knew, but you brushed it off. Because love makes excuses, and now I must tell you the truth you didn't want to see. The person who gave access to your photo, spiritually or physically, did so out of jealousy dressed as loyalty. They didn't think the file would harm you. They thought it would humble you. They thought, maybe if their shine gets dimmed, they'll need me again. Maybe if their name gets buried a little, I'll finally be the one people notice. They never told you that, did they? They never confessed that part of them couldn't stand your calling, that your light made their hidden wounds ache louder. And so, they participated in a spiritual exchange. They gave your photo. They whispered your full name. They spoke your birthday aloud. And in doing so, they linked your energy to the wrong altar. And no, this altar wasn't made of fire and smoke. It was made of jealous intentions and bitterness disguised as concern. That's the worst kind of betrayal, the kind that hugs you while it plants the seed of your downfall. Now listen, this part may hurt, but you must hear it to heal. This person once said to someone else, they don't even know how protected they are. They think they're special. Let's see how long that lasts. I heard it. Heaven heard it. And the enemy tried to use it as legal access. That's how the file began. Not just your photo, but your identity, your path, your inheritance, written down and targeted. They sent it. And then they watched your life from a distance, waiting to see if the shadows would reach you. You've probably noticed since then. Things keep breaking unexpectedly. People pull away for no reason. You feel pressure in your chest when you pray. You lose things at the moment you need them most. You wake up tired even after sleeping all night. Those are not random. That is spiritual residue. But don't fear, because I am not just revealing this. I am here to end it. Still, you need to name what hurt you. You need to stop calling it miscommunication. You need to stop excusing what was actually betrayal, because healing never arrives where honesty is rejected. Let me say something personal. You were never the problem. You were just easy to target because your soul shines louder than most. And because you never wanted to outshine anyone, you downplayed your gift. You softened your success. You hid your happiness to make others feel comfortable. But the very ones you were protecting were the ones plotting. This is why heaven sent me. Because I saw that secret thread, and I cut it. And now, I'm asking you to do the same in your heart. Forgive, yes. But do not reconnect. Some people were not meant to stay. Some conversations were never meant to be shared. And now the proof is in the pain. That file wasn't an accident. It was a coordinated spiritual betrayal. And here's the good news. It has failed. Because I, Michael, was authorized to intervene before it took full effect. I shattered the connection. I closed the portal. And I retrieved what was stolen. But this is your responsibility now. Close the door they used. Whether it was a text chain, a shared prayer group, or a daily call that always left you more anxious than uplifted. Close it. God is not calling you to be bitter. He's calling you to be unavailable to betrayal. Do you understand? You are too sacred to be in casual company. You are too chosen to keep explaining your discernment to people who only pretend to listen. This person, who handed over your photo, was warned. They were given 3 spiritual dreams to stop, but they ignored all 3. Now they've been removed from divine access. You, however, are being upgraded, but only if you learn the lesson. Not everyone who holds your hand is praying for your healing. Now breathe. You made it to this part of the message for a reason, because heaven knew the truth would hurt, but also heal. Your photo was used in spiritual betrayal, but now it will be used in spiritual restoration, because I'm sealing it in light. Your image is being rewritten in the spirit, and the false version is being erased permanently. Type 111 if you feel this word pierced through something silent inside you. Archangel Michael says, let's stop pretending this was harmless. Let's stop calling this spiritual curiosity. This was manipulation, and its purpose was control. That file, the one with your photo, your energy, your spiritual DNA, it was created to interrupt your future, not delay it, not slow it down, to rewire it. The plan wasn't just to copy your blessings, it was to corrupt them. Do you know what they wanted? They wanted access without obedience. They saw what God had placed over your life, and instead of honoring it, they thought, let me take it without the process. So they used your image as a spiritual stand-in, a decoy. You thought you were just under stress. You thought the depression was random. But no, what they crafted was a spiritual mirror, trying to reflect your light onto themselves. And when that didn't work, they tried to invert it. Turning blessings into burdens, peace into pressure, and divine favor into confusion. That's why your last opportunity didn't feel like a gift. That's why the door that opened suddenly slammed shut again. It wasn't your fault. They were trying to swap paths. But I caught it. And now you need to understand the full scope of what was attempted. They didn't just use your photo. They used your name in a spell of silence. Yes, silence. Because that's how spiritual thieves work. They don't shout. They whisper. They plant doubt like seeds and wait for your voice to grow tired. They thought if they could keep you questioning yourself, you'd never take back what they stole. They spoke this over your name. Let their light go dim. Let their voice fall flat. Let their support vanish quietly. And for a while, it felt like it was working, didn't it? You noticed the calls stopped. You noticed opportunities went quiet. You noticed even your prayers felt like they were bouncing off the ceiling. But it wasn't because God abandoned you. It was because someone tried to reroute your voice into their version of your destiny. That's what the file was meant to do. Not destroy your life all at once, but rearrange the spiritual alignment around you, just enough to make you question your place in the world. This is a hard word, but I must speak it. They didn't want you dead. They wanted you tired, spiritually tired, mentally worn out, emotionally numb, because when the enemy can't kill you, it will try to make you quiet enough to be ignored. And that's what this file carried. A strategy to dim your name in heaven by pulling you out of spiritual agreement. But here's the thing they underestimated. God did not assign your destiny based on volume. He assigned it based on truth. And no stolen photo, no whispered ritual, no corrupted file can override what heaven declared over your life before you were born. Now let me expose something else. The person who made the file didn't act alone. They had help. There were 3 people involved. One was the gate opener, one was the mouthpiece, and one was the monitor. Let me break it down. The gate opener was the person close to you, the one who handed over the picture, physical or spiritual. The mouthpiece is the one who spoke your name in false tongues. They sounded spiritual but were being used. The monitor is the one who checks in on you, not out of love, but to report back what's working and what's not. And I saw all 3. And I have shut down all 3, but now it's your turn to clean up the residue. Because what good is freedom if you keep welcoming surveillance? What good is restoration if you keep trusting the one who let the snake in? Child, listen closely. You are not cursed, but you have been copied, you have been mimicked, and that imitation tried to become the real thing through this spiritual file. But only God creates originals, and you are one. This is why the warfare has been so intense. This is why your name keeps coming up in strange places. This is why certain people you haven't seen in years are suddenly reaching out again. They don't even know why. But I do. The spiritual blueprint that was copied is now falling apart, and like broken glass, it's drawing them back to the source, you. But don't fall for the reconciliation trap. Some connections are not meant to be restored. They are meant to be revealed, rebuked, and removed. God is not calling you to walk back into rooms He pulled you out of. He's calling you to stand guard at the door to your spirit. And I, Michael, am assigning angels now to reinforce the boundary. This is your moment to decide. Will you keep inviting people to hold your sacred picture? Or will you finally say, access denied, that season is over? Let me be clear. The file they made will not survive the week. It is being disassembled even as I speak this. And every part of it, your name, your image, your essence, will be returned to you, cleansed. But you must shut the final door, close the group chat, mute the fake prophet, decline the reunion dinner, delete the leftover soul ties. Because your life is not a gallery, it's a sanctuary. And not everyone deserves a tour. This is your time. No more rehearsing pain. No more feeding leeches. What they meant for harm, God is now using to refine your radar. Because the next time someone tries to snapshot your spirit, you'll already be surrounded in glory too thick to penetrate. Type 797 if you're ready for that protection to lock in permanently. Archangel Michael says, now, beloved, it is time to look deeply, to see beyond the surface, into the realm where the invisible lives. Because this file, with your photo, your energy, your essence, did not move alone. It did not drift like a leaf on the wind. It was sent, and it was seen. There is a circle of watchers in the unseen. Some watch with love. Some watch with greed. Some watch with a hunger to control what they cannot create. Who sent this file? It was not just one person. It was a gathering, a dark meeting of souls hungry for power over your destiny. They gathered in a place you cannot visit with your feet, but only with your spirit. This place is a crossroads of choices, a spiritual forum where whispers become decrees, where images are traded like currency, where your likeness was auctioned to the highest bidder in the realm of shadows. I saw it, and it shook the heavens, because your photo was not just a picture. It was a key meant to unlock a door you were never meant to open, a door that held your blessing, your purpose, your future. The Watchers, those who saw your image, were not human alone. They were shadows with faces. They were whispers with names. I stood before the throne and demanded their identities be revealed, because the divine law protects the image of the chosen. The first to be named was the one who cradled the file, the receiver. This one stood in the darkness, eyes burning with envy, hands trembling with greed. They longed to reshape your path as if it were clay beneath their fingers. They have walked among you, hidden behind a mask of kindness, but their heart was cold. The second was the messenger, the one who spread the file like wildfire across unseen realms. They are the voice that whispered your name in secret meetings. They are the one who spoke the lie wrapped in truth, hoping to confuse your spirit and cloud your discernment. The third was the Watcher, the silent observer who tracked your every move, reporting back like a shadow in your home. They listened to your prayers, watched your tears, and fed the information to those who wished you harm. But the truth is, these Watchers are prisoners of their own fear. They fear the light you carry because it exposes their own darkness. And the file? It was their attempt to steal what they cannot create, your divine identity. But here's what you must know. Not all who saw your photo were enemies. Some in the spirit realm saw your image and wept. They are angels assigned to protect you, tasked with guarding the sacred imprint of your soul. I am one of them. I stood between the Watchers and you, my sword a shield of fire guarding your image from defilement. And I tell you now, the Watchers are powerless against the armor of faith. No file, no image, no secret document can override the covenant written on your heart by the Creator himself. Yet you must be aware, because some Watchers will attempt one last time to sway your path. They will appear as helpers, advisors, or even as old friends returned. But you will know them by their fruit. Do they bring confusion? Do they stir doubt? Do they try to pull you back into old patterns of pain? If yes, then they are Watchers still hungry for control. Turn away. Shut the door with authority. Now, listen carefully. The file was sent with permission, though it was stolen. There was a moment when spiritual boundaries were crossed. That moment was a breach, a tear in your spiritual armor. But that tear is being mended. I have commanded the healing angels to weave new threads into your protection. Your image is now guarded by celestial chains, forged in light and unbreakable by darkness. You may not see this armor yet, but it is there. You feel it in your spirit as a gentle pressing peace. You hear it in your prayers as a new confidence rising. You taste it in your decisions as clarity replacing confusion. This is the aftermath of the Watcher's failed attempt. You were seen. Your image was taken. But you were never alone. You were surrounded by legions of light who would never let the enemy win. And now, beloved, it is your turn. To walk forward with open eyes and a guarded heart. To recognize when Watchers come disguised as helpers. To reclaim your image, your name, your destiny. Because what was stolen is being restored. What was corrupted is being healed. What was hidden is coming to full light. And you, child, are the chosen steward of that restoration. Type 333 if you accept this truth and claim your divine protection now. Archangel Michael says, "You have walked through the shadow of betrayal and spiritual warfare, and yet here you stand, stronger, wiser, more radiant than before. The private file made with your photo, meant to bind and confuse, has been uncovered and broken by the light of heaven. But the true victory is not just in what was revealed, it is in what you choose now. You are not defined by what others tried to steal or control. You are defined by the Creator's hand, who shaped you with purpose and love before time began. Tonight, I urge you to declare your freedom. Say aloud, "No weapon formed against my spirit will prosper. My image, my identity, and my destiny are sealed in divine light." This declaration is more than words. It is a spiritual armor that no darkness can penetrate. It is the key to reclaiming every blessing delayed by deception. Remember, this moment is a threshold. Behind you lies the pain and confusion of the past. Ahead of you stretches the path of restoration, favor, and peace. Walk boldly into that future. You are not alone. Heaven stands with you. I stand with you. Your story is far from over. It is just beginning. Type 777 to embrace your breakthrough. Type 111 to awaken to your divine protection. And never forget, your light is your power. No file, no secret, no betrayal can ever diminish the sacred image of your soul. You are beloved. You are chosen. You are victorious. Go now with peace and strength.